Kate, look what I've just found. Can you guess what this is?
Part of my old roller skate.
No.
No.
I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a clue. Brickwork.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hope we find out more on the Lucas Show. Hello and welcome to the Lucas Show with me, Kate McIntyre.
And me, Danny Lucas.
Now, I know a few weeks ago on the show we were tackling the hot topic of the skills shortage, and of course we know your commitment here, Danny, with Lucas towards that. So how many apprentices do you have at the moment?
Disappointingly, it's a low number. It's about 6. We want a lot more, but I'm pleased to say that we've got a bit of a turning point.
So you have some news.
We do. I mentioned last time about the CITB and how we'd approach them direct, and as a result of our urging Sarah Bill, she's put us in touch with a lady called Celine McGowan, who represents the Kent area, and Celine has come up with a scheme for Lucas that will give us access to 20 apprentices to interview, and they're really supporting us. So it's proved to me that if you don't ask, you don't get, and actually hopefully that encourages a lot of other contractors that are paying their levy to do that and actually engage with CITB.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a huge result really for you.
Massive.
Yeah, so hopefully those guys are watching and they can see what impact that decision has made on you already. And hopefully, like you say, other people can jump on board and maybe start to do similar things.
Definitely. It's there to be tapped into, and the support is definitely there. Okay,
so tap away, but not yet, because you're watching the show and you don't want to go anywhere because there's loads of cool stuff coming up today. So let's get back to the issue of obviously your commitment to the skills shortage. What about your clients and other businesses? What are they doing? Are they as into this as you are?
There's a lot of activity for sure. It's something that's spoken about a lot. Action to me is what it's all about. And I've got to say that one client that really stands out to me in that regard is Berkeley Group, who we do a lot of work for in London, Berkeley Homes, big developer. We were fortunate enough in 2017 to win their apprenticeship awards. And in 2018, they asked me to be a judge on that, and they launched their new apprenticeship video campaign, and I was really impressed. So, yeah.
Great. Well, I've not seen it yet, and neither have you, so let's take a look.
Being a Berkeley apprentice means I get to lay the foundations for my future, brick by brick.
But why be down below when you can take your career to unimaginable heights?
That sounds far too long-winded. I can build 10 walls in that time, reaching my career goals much quicker.
Speed comes easy when you've got the skill set. I can be a carpenter, plumber and a builder whenever I need to be. Boom.
You call those skills? My knowledge is booming. I need to be on top of it all.
Hey, but I need to be around it all.
Making sure the surrounding infrastructure enhances the area and my skills.
Not without my help. I support them and my career, ensuring that thousands of materials are bought and used wisely.
I like to be in control of my future and her money.
Forecasting £1 million budgets and then making sure we stick to them.
And I have to be on top of them all, ensuring our developments are good for the environment as they are for our buyers.
But nobody's buying if we're not integrating. I get to showcase my skills and our developments with the communities we're building.
And I get to make the lucky buyer very happy. All thanks to the great team around me.
Wow, I mean, what a fantastic video highlighting all the job opportunities out there.
Real energy as well. I loved the energy behind it and the breadth of trades that it showed.
Yeah.
It's all about out on site and what you can do, so brilliant video.
And I think if I was sitting at home now watching, thinking, oh, what should I do? I don't know, don't want to get into construction, don't want to go to uni, what do I want? Actually seeing that would probably really inspire me to take that next step, make a couple of phone calls and look into exactly what is out there.
Yeah, well, I showed it to a few of my son's friends and they were like blown away with the whole energy of it, and a couple of them have now gone into construction, which is brilliant. I mean, it just shows you the power of media and getting the right messages out.
It does, indeed. And it's on the Lucas Show now, so hopefully it's out there and everyone will be watching it.
Yes.
So that leads us perfectly onto our first guest. So please welcome to the studio, Livett. the CEO of the Association of Brickwork Contractors.
Thank you for
Welcome,
having me.
Eve.
Thank you.
What did you think of the video?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. I'm surprised I've not seen it before. It really shows the industry as it is, the dynamic nature of it, and all the opportunities that there are to get involved.
And brickwork.
Absolutely, which was the number one person.
Yeah,
Brickwork
well,
videos.
that's
Yeah,
what you're all
absolutely
about,
fantastic.
really, isn't it? Getting people
It
involved.
is,
So
yes.
just give us a sort of lowdown on your role in a nutshell.
I, as you said, I am the Chief Executive of the Association of Brickwork Contractors, and the association represent large brickwork contractors within the UK, and we represent them by representing the role of the bricklayer within the industry, and the brickwork contractor, and our main focus areas are training, skills and education, health and safety, employment and the quality of workmanship. And so we represent our brickwork contractors within those areas. Obviously for the last, since I've been there, since last January now, our core focus has really been on the training and making sure that the right skills are being taught at colleges so that the employers are really gaining in that, and making sure that there's more apprentices coming into the industry and the right skills are being taught.
Yeah. So talking about skills in general then, I mean, Dana, you've probably got a view on this as well. Would you say over the last sort of 10, 15 years, the skill set that is required has changed dramatically?
I think so, absolutely. The industry is massively changing all the time. There's new innovations, and the modern masonry, has really taken off. So actually, I was doing a project last year, and we were updating the national curriculum, and that's for trowel occupation, so brickwork. And I sat down with a group of employers, and we looked at the national curriculum, and which hadn't actually been looked at for a long time, about 8 years, I think, and we were shocked about what was in there and what wasn't in there.
So it just hadn't really been revamped.
It hadn't been looked at, and it hadn't been revamped. You're right, and it's really shocking. So we've now done a lot of work to add a lot of new brickwork, modern masonry in there, and new substrates. We used to do brick and block. It's not all brick and block anymore. We have timber frame. So it's about making sure that the whole breadth of this innovation that the whole of the construction industry is facing is actually put over into the national curriculum. And for brickwork, it was quite shocking how a lot of the areas that are predominantly being worked on at the moment aren't being taught in colleges. And
do you know what that's shown me as well, which I think is a really important point, and it seems to have worked really well, is that where you're engaging with the brickwork contractors and you're representing them, you're bringing their knowledge into the education
I think
side.
It's very important to be able to do that, because the brickwork contractors and the bricklayers are working in the environment.
They're at the front end of
they are
it.
the forefront of what's happening. They should be involved in the training side of things, because they have the knowledge. And that's what I found when I first joined, that the bridge between the educational sector and the industry, and especially the brickwork sector, there was none. And that collaboration and communication, that needed work.
And now there is one. That is you. You are the bridge.
It's all in my shoulders. But definitely for the employers and for my members, I did provide that. I did provide more of that bridge on a level where that we could interact with all of the members together as a conglomerate.
Moving back to today, then, would you say they're pretty much in sync now? Have you got them to a good stage where what the employers want and what education's offering are teeing up?
What we've done is we've set the foundation. So as I said, we've really worked hard in changing that national curriculum. So there are areas now that are relevant to the industry, which are now being taught. So I think that will take time to kind of filter into the educational system. We changed it last year. It should start filtering in from September. So that will really help. The new frameworks on the trailblazers for apprentices, that's filtering through. It's taking quite a long time, but it will filter through. But that gives the employer a lot more control over the training, which is a good thing, because obviously, as we were just saying, the employer has the knowledge, and it's the employer that needs that support.
What I'm interested to know is, does that mean that there's some upskilling required of the tutors, because they were working to stuff that's had to have the dust blown off of them?
Absolutely.
And now they've had to upskill, if
You're
you like.
right, yes.
Has that been a big challenge?
Do you know what, that will be the big challenge. And you know, I see it all the time, and I go into colleges all the time, and we're talking about these new areas the brickwork, the bricklayers are working on and are doing every day. And you know, you see this like blank stare, they don't know what it is, and they're scared.
Well, we found a similar thing in painting, funny enough, Eve. It was exactly the same, that the college tutors weren't aware of the innovation in the world of paint.
That's right, of course.
And all of a
not,
sudden, so having that employer input and working together is key. And it sounds like it's really powerful with the 22 large contractors and you representing them and bringing that to
that's
education.
it, and it's all about making sure that those contractors are getting into the colleges, are giving the tutors work experience, making sure that they are able to deliver the correct training. And so, there's a lot of projects that we are doing at the moment that will get the industry into the college, making sure that the college is aware of all the changes that are happening within the industry, so to make sure that the two marry up perfectly, because that's what you need.
So talking about getting all your ducks in the row then, how are you managing to get people to focus on the other important issue really within this of getting more women into construction and into bricklaying specifically?
Yeah, I mean, it is historically it's a very in a male environment, but I have seen a lot more women within training. Actually, one of the best bricklayers that I know is a woman. She works on Hampton Court. Emma Simpson, her name is. Fantastic bricklayer, really intricate. But it's all about shouting about it and promoting the fact that it is good for women. Women can do the same as a man. We hold women in construction events, promoting that what women can do. So there are things that we do, but it's actually about attracting everyone in and making sure that we're attracting everyone into the industry and making sure that the environment is safe and available to everyone, because
it's accessible. It's all about being accessible, isn't it?
So Danny, for you at Lucas, are you doing anything specifically sort of aimed at women in construction?
Definitely. I mean, we've been promoting women in construction now for a long time, and we've got people in different roles, women in different roles. We've got site operatives through to surveyors, through to cost, health and safety, sustainability, mental health. So it's all areas really, and it starts with the trades for me, as I always say. I mean, if you can get people interested in the trade side of it, the career path beyond that is immense, and you can go into various areas in this great industry that we have. So I'd say it's a big thing for us as well.
Good.
There's not enough. We know that the numbers are still low. They need to be a lot higher, but we're opening the doors. And it's really diversity. It's not just women, it's everybody. It's about everybody.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to Brooklands College a few weeks ago, I met a couple of the girls there that were training, and they loved it, didn't they? They absolutely...
The enthusiasm there.
Loved it.
Brooklands is a fantastic college, absolutely fantastic model for the industry.
And I know obviously you've had a lot of dealings with the college, and of course you were up at the competition that Christian was at, the final.
The Guild of Bricklayers final, up north. Yeah.
How did that go?
Fantastic, these competitions are a fantastic way for the students and the apprentices to showcase their skills. It's a fantastic event for industry to then come into the college, witness these students, and the standard that they're at, and offer advice. So it's fantastic. It's a really good thing to be involved in. So
well, I hope you haven't had enough of Christian at the event there, because we've got him in the studio today, so we thought it was quite. Come on, he's over there. Come in. Again. So we thought it was a good opportunity to get you both back together again, because really you guys are the perfect sort of partnership, because you're sort of teeing up what the employers want, and you're bringing the sort of education course side to it.
And I think that's really important, definitely for an apprenticeship, to have the apprentice, the employer, and the educational facility, the training provider, all involved and all collaborated. So really what one of our ABC members, Lee Marley Brickwork, is linked to Brooklands College, and the model that they have working there is fantastic, because the Brooklands are getting all that knowledge and all that experience from Lee Marley Brickwork, and Lee Marley Brickwork are then training good, making sure that they're getting good bricklayers, because they're giving the knowledge to you.
Real collaboration.
And it's a collaboration.
They give us the opportunity to go out on site. Next Tuesday I'm going actually out on site to spend a day with the apprentices, but actually look at the latest stuff and keep up to date. And like you were saying earlier in the programme,
you can build that in.
Tutors actually keeping up to date with the latest stuff to be able to show this, and we teach the latest.
Yeah, so you can integrate that into the learning, which is really important. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and again, we were talking, you were asking Eve about, do some of the tutors need to blow away the cobwebs and sort of
upskill if you like.
I mean, how are you finding it at the college there? Is everyone, are the tutors embracing the change?
Some are, our college, I'm very much in driving that to keep to the cutting edge, latest stuff. And you still have to know the stuff, the older stuff that still happens, and it still there's a place for that. But it's all keeping up to date with CPD, with the latest stuff.
Could I ask a question? Just pick an example of an innovation change that's happened where, if you like, the old curriculum didn't cover it, but you've learnt something different.
Horizontal masonry support. I think because the higher the buildings are going up now, you have to place support every couple of stories because of the compression on the bricks. And again, there was nothing in there about horizontal masonry support. That
wasn't part of the curriculum before.
And again, that's something we've introduced at Brooklands.
And also fire barriers and breaks, which is a
very prominent.
huge prominent issue on site.
Very topical,
we have to adapt as an industry to this.
We have to adapt, and there was nothing within the brickwork curriculum about fire safety, fire regulations.
So with all of that then, Christian, I mean, talking about having the right materials to work with, do these sort of tie-ups with companies actually help you on that front? Do they provide sort of relevant materials and equipment?
So especially the members that belong to the ABC, all of their apprentices get their own apprentice pack, so that all the employers give the tools, the correct tools to the apprentice to make sure that they're able to go into work and are ready. But there is there's a huge movement now with manufacturers making sure that there are products and the relevant products within the colleges, so that they are able to train on the correct materials, so to speak.
That's been very successful with us, with our sponsors that support the department, in bricks, blocks, lintels, wall ties, fire barrier. Again, having the opportunity to have the stuff to actually show the students how to seal the cavity with the fire barrier and put the correct DPC, etc. in place.
So there's some technical learning here, which is brilliant, because people just think of the trowel and the brick, and they don't think it's a bit like the brush and the roller concept that I have.
It's way beyond
there's
that,
so much more to it, and you can
Yeah.
become an absolute expert in things that you can carry forward then into your other roles in construction with knowledge that equips you for a career.
Absolutely. Well, talking about tools, because I know I went down to Brooklands and had a little crash course on bricklaying, and I think Christian's brought in some tools to further my education in the world of bricklaying. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Shall I
Come
get
on,
them?
wheel them in. So we'll see, Eve, how good your knowledge is as well on what's in here. So I can definitely see a spirit level. There you go, that's my one done.
Well done.
You're aware. So obviously, predominantly bricklayers, this is a 2-foot one. They use a 4-foot one as well. So for doing all the plumbing and levelling and making it all correct. So do we know what this one is?
Can I chip in?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to?
Hello, chip in.
No, I meant hammer and bolster.
Hammer and bolster, yeah. So that's again cutting all the materials they've got there.
That's a little trowel. That's a little trowel.
It's called a pointing trowel, so for different types of joint finishes. You have a jointing iron here, which is, like I said, predominantly most houses in the UK. The joint finish is half round joint finish. So again, that's very probably used a lot.
I was going to say shoehorn to get your boots on, but, right?
Christian, question on that one.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's an old thing from my apprenticeship days, but like a bucket handle.
Again, that's where it evolved from. It was the old metal bucket handle. That's the U shape they used to shape it.
So it was a bucket handle pointing.
Yeah.
That I can't remember if that was the exact word.
Yeah, they used to call it bucket iron. Now the official is half round joint finished. That's a jointing iron. Yeah, very good.
Handle,
and then there's this one. This might be the little tricky one. Does anyone know?
Well, I'll give you a clue, right? Think of Ben-Hur. Think of Ben-Hur, the film.
Yeah.
What the horses
Romans.
were.
Chariot, brick chariots.
Yeah, so
carry
it's a chariot, and this little device, it actually rakes out the mortar to leave a recessed joint finish, which gives a different finish in the brickwork. It accentuates the joint, sets it back slightly.
And how long have these terms been around? I mean, is that...
This is more probably the last 20 years.
So there wasn't a chariot 100 years ago?
No.
Okay.
No, predominantly actually,
it
used to be done with a weather-struck finish with a pointing trowel, and then evolved into the jointing arm, which is a bit more quicker.
I remember the pointing trowel.
Go on, this is yours,
and then
Eve, this is yours.
Could that be a trowel?
Yes, this is the bricklaying trowel. This is what, you know, all the brickies use. They come in various different shapes and sizes. It's what suits. We obviously advise the students when they start. We have at Brooklands have all our own tools and good quality tools, but this is their main tool. So we advise them after 2 or 3 months on the course, get their own trowel, because if they take onus, it shapes. Because if they're left-handed or right-handed, it wears. And that trowel for sort of £40, one like this, will last them their 3 years at college and probably the first couple of years of their career
so
as well.
Like a chef's knife.
So
I like that.
Really are, but the right tools for the job.
And we advise, them to, if they're going to invest, they in their tools and buy their own tools, or like you said, if they become an apprentice and companies purchase them. But again, even the companies know the best ones to use and the stuff that they will then go on to use afterwards. So I mean, I could put 5 of these into mortar and not look, and I will pick this one up.
Yeah,
because I know. Yeah, and that's what you're saying about the chef's knife and different things.
You know your tool.
You're showing off now.
Just a question. Are HODs less seen today, or are they not seen at all?
Then
now?
they're actually not allowed anymore.
It's an evolution, isn't it? Again, here we are with an evolution of innovation. So HOD carriers, you'd see them. Manual handling regs, you don't see a HOD anymore.
Yeah, first and foremost, it started off that you weren't allowed to go up ladders with them, and now you're not allowed to use them at all. Again, it's all done with lifts, telescopic telehandlers, and then even pump trucks and different things. Once it's loaded up onto the actual level.
And this takes away the myth, of course, then, for what we talked about with women in construction, because maybe a lot of them are put off by the old messages that they saw, that it was about the labour intensive,
and it's not as
the manual handling,
strength oriented.
Now it's equal for everybody.
No.
Things we're using equipment now.
Rather than it's brains rather than brawn, maybe, and an actual skill.
And I think that's a barrier gone straight away, isn't it? That's really changed things.
Change that. And I think if we got into schools, like we were saying in previous programmes, get into schools, get them early, show them it's a really good career to get into, break down some of those barriers and then myths that the parents and granddads and they said, oh, you don't want to go into construction because it's
you'll be carrying a HOD up a ladder and all that. Well, sorry, you don't anymore. It's not allowed.
So I think that's it. It's actually spreading the right word.
Yes, educating people early.
In their first few years at secondary school before they take their options, so they actually have an idea of what they want to get into.
Well, thank you for bringing those in. Is there a cup of tea and a packet of biscuits in there?
There's probably a bar of chocolate definitely in the bottom there. Always got to have a snack.
Brilliant.
Well, we'll be getting that message out definitely through this show for sure about all the positives there, and that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I love seeing these things anyway. It's great to see some good tools.
So if there was anything just sort of to round up now for today that you guys, if you were giving a shout out there, either to the employers or to the, future students of tomorrow, what would you sort of say to them, Eve, first of all?
Well, speaking to employers is to really take on apprentices, make sure that you are, when you do take on the apprentices, communicate with the training provider, make sure that that's their two-way communication, which will really help the apprentice, and to really make the apprentice work for your company. Most of the brickwork contractors that I work with will have an apprentice, and then that apprentice will stay with them for years and years, and really invest. They invest
become
in
part of
them,
the company.
They go on to then be the foreman, or again diverse in the company,
or the
health and safety
day.
advisors, or quantity surveyors and things like that.
And that's why these guys, the ABC members are, the best at their game, because they really invest in their training and their apprentices, and it's just a way to build up that loyalty and your company. So it's fantastic. So take on apprentices.
And I think for people that are potentially interested, get into construction by asking the colleges, looking at it, Googling it, actually finding out really about what a good career it is, and you know, and contact the college.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say is that, you know, people forget to look at brickwork, but if we look at the projects in London that are around, like St Pancras Station, Tate Modern, there's some
Elephant and Castle regeneration.
Iconic buildings that you start to look at the detail and understand the trade and what's been done. And the other thing from my point of view is that pretty much I couldn't paint if you didn't build walls. Do you know what I mean? I mean, without brickwork or blockwork...
It's not a dying art, is it?
We couldn't paint. No. You know, I know that buildings are built with timber and dry lining, but, you know, there's blockwork in basements that we do. It's all part of the trade. And we paint that. So if you don't build it, we can't paint. So we all support each other.
It all links together.
We all support each other.
And if none of it's here, there won't be a Lucas show. So come on, everyone. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on. And hopefully this has maybe at least started conversations at home with people watching.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, this is at the heart of what we were doing with this show.
If this can inspire a few people or multiple people to just look into construction and actually take the first step, then it's worked.
Absolutely. Then there's another Lee Marley created in the future, you know, and these are the people that are employing people. So it's all about keeping the trade alive. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Great to see
Thank you for having us.
Well, that almost brings us to the end of the show, but of course we need to let you know how to get in touch if you don't know already, Danny.
Well, this finger's hurting there, Kate, because I keep pointing down to this subscribe
button. It's working
button.
though, because you are getting in touch.
But yes, absolutely. More subscribers, spread the word, and definitely talk about brickwork a lot more, because there's a lot to see out there.
There is, brilliant. And keep looking up and looking at all those buildings. I think sometimes, particularly in London, you get so used to walking along, not looking up. When you start looking at the creations around you, wow, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, just to chip in, at the very end, get on a bus, go on the open deck bus, and you start to see things that you didn't realise were there. Open my eyes up. I'm always walking around in London at low level. Get on the bus, you'll see amazing brickwork.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
thank you,
fantastic.
Danny, for that
Thank
top
you.
tip. Right, well, we'll go and get our bus ticket. See you next time.
Thank you.